Oh yeah, baby. I know what I'm going to do with this one. I'll give you a little preview. I'm going to cut this from here to here, right along this line right here. I'm going to cut this one right here from this line from here to here. And then I'm going to mark a certain measurement in, and I'm going to do some T-lights. Probably, I'll get away with 3. So something around here, one around here, one around here type of deal. And then I'm going to chamfer these edges on the router table, which is a bloody mess right now, but I'll chamfer it, give it some depth, get the holes in here, put a stain on here, and away we go. Now there's other projects that I did out of this specific wood here. This is that rockwood flooring that Steve was wanting so much. Taken on its end, this was planed down. This is not the actual thickness, it was thicker. I planed it down, and with the extras that I had, cut it with my bandsaw or my table saw to get a better cut than a bandsaw sometimes if there's flexion. And cut it out, take this, you get a whole bunch of strips together. You know, it would be something like this that you would get out of it, right? You can make a bunch of cuts. You take it over to the scroll saw, you put a pattern on it, and you cut it out. So you got doves, I got some chemical stuff here, I got some dragon stuff that I did here. Let's get a better one, that's the pattern for it. Got a dragon. See? Bunch of stuff that you can do with these things. Winged Pegasus. See? So yeah, woodworking with Kenny. Stick around. Okay, so I've got this all set up. I've got this, so the blade is going to take off right through that sliver, right along the line here. And I'm going to come in, I'm going to take this off. So I got my dust collector set up, my hearing protection in. Bandsaw's got the tension that it needs. The guard is down for safety and for stability of cut, but this is not a huge piece. So as soon as I plug this in, this is going to fire up because the switch doesn't work. And away we go. Volume warning. That I can deal with. Alright, let's continue. Alright, so really quickly off camera, I didn't really like the edges. They had a little bit of glue still on them, so I made a couple cuts here. I took off a little bit from each side, a little sliver. So these I will keep to the side, get a pattern on them, take them over to the scroll saw, and we'll make a thin bookmark out of it. It's not really going to be, this one will be better than this one. This one's going to be a little flimsy, but all right, we're ready with this piece. I'm going to set up the router and away we go. Okay, got my piece ready here. I got a bit of a round over bit in there, and I got my safeties all set up, my guards in place, a push stick. So it's all plugged in. Here we go. A little bit of a volume warning. Turn down whatever you're listening on. All right, here we go. Where's that switch? Yeah, there it is. So that was a first run through. You can kind of see it, but I want a little bit more than that. I want to take off more than just the actual corner, so I want to have a little bit of a shadow effect. So I'm going to set this up a little bit further back and rerun it. Alright, so what I've done, I wasn't happy with the bit that I was using, so I've gone and switched to this kind of a chamfer bit here. So I'm going to take off about that much from the inside, so that'll be a pretty decent amount of material to remove. So I'm going to set this up, fire it up, and away we go. Alright, volume warning, here we go. Okay, now for the end grain. All set up, ready to go. Here we go again. One more. I don't like this side too much. Alright, so we have a chamfered piece, which will now give that shadow effect that you see at the bottom there. Okay, so instead of being flat like that, you get the shadow effect all the way around. Next. Alright, so done the top, so I'm just going to pretty much get this on the drill press, put some 1.5 inch holes, figure out my spacing, a little bit of sanding, throw probably some spray poly on it, call it a day. And I'm out of here. I'm going to swim like a fish and get out of here, baby. Down, wrapping it up. All right, I got my measurements laid out. I'm going to get them lined up, fire these holes off, and away we go. All right. Turn the volume down because this might squeal a lot, so there could be a volume issue. gonna make a mark here. See if you can see it. So I can have a reference line here. There we go. Alright, away we go. Told you. Let's test. Let's see. Okay, that sticks up just enough so I can get a grip on these things, just enough. So that mark is perfect. So let's move on to the next hole. Very good. Get that tightened up. Not sure I like the positioning of this too much, to be honest. I want a little bit more security here. There we go. All right, next hole. And last but not least, there we go. All right, something like that. Okay, so far so good. Just that little bit of proud candle here, so you can just get your fingers to pick it up just enough. There we go. So off to some sanding and finishing. All right, well, I didn't like the spray. I don't like the way it's coming out, so I'm just going to go straight with the lacquer, no oil. So I'm going to get this thing popped open, stir it up gently, because you don't want air bubbles in this. And then start spreading it on with one of these brushes and get this party finished. Okay, so I like the smell, but not for too long. Stir this up. Okay, get my brush. That's a nice brush there. I'll take this, put it over to here, zoom in a little bit. And what I'll do, since I don't need very much, I'll just use the drippings from this to coat for my brush. And we'll just brush that in and see how this goes. not going to go too heavy. This is probably already too heavy. Zoom out a little bit. Okay, so I'll get this all finished up, and then once again, when it's all done, because holding this with one hand and doing this one-handed while trying to see the camera that you can see what I see or make a good view for you, it is a bit of a pain in the butt. All right, I shall return. Hey everybody! There it is. It's not finished. I didn't do anything. All I did is pull it off from where I put that finish on last night to just bring it over here, throw some candles in it. They're not the greatest. I mean, they're sitting around in the shop for a while, so they don't look as nice as they should. But this is the candle holder so far as it is. The other side there, it's got that bit of a gloss effect going, which is nice. And the wood, originally laminated, looks like something like this. This is all sanded and rounded off. These are for something other type of candle holder, same but different. And then I saw this. I was going to make a little mini cheese board out of it, but it's too small, so I'm going to cut eventually a recess in here, about 1/4 inch. Have this sitting here. Route some kind of profile around the edges, maybe like an OG curve or something like that, or whatever. And this can be a little stand for it, you know, like a raised platform, kind of like my drums. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what it's looking like so far. So let's find out what I'm going to do next.